Hello everyone, this is TheScientist and welcome back to the Tips and Tricks 100 Days Winemaking Simulator. This time we'll go over 10 mid-late game tips. If you haven't checked out our beginner tips, click in the video above if you want to. Tip number 1, the shop is your best friend. In the beginning, shop is bad, but soon enough, the shop auto sale is an amazing time saver. I recommend buying it as you get about 8,000 bottles a year. That should be quick, and 2 vineyards sufficient. But with 3 vineyards, it's a certainty you're going to get there. At first, you toggle private customer option and lower discount. When you have about 40,000 or more bottles a year, you will change it to all and choose the highest amount of bottles for balanced loss of income or highest income when you need fast cash. Merchandising and wine tasting technology also helps very well to keep your daily expenses in check. Tip number 2, aim for perfect terroir. Perfect terroir is when you have a lot of green aspects when picking up a land and a grape for your vineyard. The rule of thumb is to have at least 1 extra green above the reds. For example, if you have 2 greens and 1 red, that's okay. But you will need to do a very low pruning to keep the chance of getting great grape quality from time to time. It is more cost effective to buy a more expensive land to plant a second Chardonnay or Barbera instead of trying to push for a third type of grape in a bad terroir. Tip number 3, getting more is more. This tip was there in the first video, but I'll explain more here. The amount of extra green aspects you have in a terroir or land allows you to increase the pruning respectively. 3 extra grains allow you to go to medium or even high pruning and still get great grapes with the grade or ratings of 90 or above. And this is only after trimming is available. Another aspect of getting more and more is to use a better press. The automated press can squeeze a lot of more bottles of your same harvest, and you should upgrade them as soon as possible. Likewise, during the pressing, if you have great or excellent grapes, you can add an extra tick of tannin just to get more bottles of that batch. Tip number 4, the richness is in the details. That said, you need to pay attention to when the quality of the grape decays. Squeezing too much will change the quality from great to good, for example, and that will result in cheaper wine and overall you're losing money. The more vineyards you add, the hardest will be to manage perfect harvests. The grapes that demand low acidity will sometimes have to be harvested when the sweetness reaches 6, and then you're gonna have to use malolactic fermentation. As you don't have fine adjustments for acidity when you're doing this fermentation, aim for the one closest to the desired trait. If 6 is the aim, 5.7 is a better fermentation than 5.5. And this will impact so little your rating to the point that you won't even get a comment on acidity at the wine tasting. Tip number 5, employees are extra bored. Employees are mandatory, at least for me. At the time you reach the 4th vineyard, things will be moving fast. Too many things to clean, too many things to treat. Too many cards always coming. Employees can get pruning, trimming, weeding, suckering, and crop thinning done without proccing any card, thus occupying any space on your board. Just make sure to adjust the pruning adequately, because it won't be selected according to the previous save as the card generally is. So my suggestion is to keep pruning off and the rest on. When the pruning card appears, you look which of the 3 types is the best when you select the quantity. And then instead of putting the card, enter this info at the management session of your employees and forget about it. This causes disease in your crop sometimes. You will need to use curative tab of treatment card for those. Tip number 6, terracing and irrigation do-over. As soon as you can, perform terracing and irrigation. You will need to uproot your vineyards for that. That's part of getting more and more. Terracing will help with the quality and productivity, whereas irrigation makes you impermeable to heat waves. You will need to uproot each one of them, and I'll suggest one per year to avoid disrupting your economy too much. At the time you can replant, you might even change the grape to a better one, reaching more perfect terroirs. Don't be afraid to have 3 Chardonnay if they are the only ones with 2 or more green aspects and no reds in your lands. You'll soon be a multimillionaire. Tip number 7. 100 Fame, National Awards and Exhibits. As you get into the 60 fames, the game will punish too much to remove special orders and get new ones. So you will not be able to pass much above 65 without national awards or marketing. Marketing is also very effective, but very expensive for little fame. With the national exhibits, 2,000 euros give you 3 fame and new special orders. The discounts of these new special orders is disgusting, from 20 to 30%. But if you have surplus of bottles, it's a great way to dispose of them. They go away in one day, the special orders, so if you don't use them, they will just disappear, and they don't give any fame. Other exhibits, European one, Asian one, like international ones, are very cost effective too. With 100 fame, you'll be selling high quality Chardonnay by $29 a bottle and Barb by $36 a bottle. Sorry, euros. Tip number 8. Know thy weather. Weather predictions will give you the money back. Really, without them, it's not possible to have more than 5 vineyards yielding above 90 rating bottles. If you know the autumn will be cold, then your grapes will not drop in acidity or increase sweetness very much. So you can anticipate the harvest and use malolactic fermentation later on to try to control for the desired state of acidity. Similarly, you won't be able to harvest on winter. So, if it will rain the last 2 days of the autumn, you must harvest before the 4th autumn day, or you will lose everything. Trust me, it's no bueno. Tip number 9. Play with your favors. This is amazing. I am a professional scientist for more than 15 years now, and I love to have a lab in this game. Each land has its own native yeast with a unique taste. To get that taste available for other grapes, you will need to use the yeast lab to hybridize it with another. The strongest ones in this trait will be likely resultant of your combination. So, if you want the cherry taste, combining your cherry with 1 or 2 other yeasts, making sure that it has the highest probability to come out in your hybridization process. Don't forget that bottle aging is available in the late game too, and can increase body at the cost of rebottling and many turns. I included it here as it also adds new flavor, so it's part of playing with your favors. Alright, achievements and challenges are fun. Well, endgame is time for pursuing achievements and challenges. Applying the tips here and the beginner ones can help you with all of them. I won't spoil anything else by telling you exactly what to do. You can find the beginner tips summarized in the description of this video, as well as the desired stats for each grape. Well, with that, I have another 2 tricks. The first one is to use loan and sales to help you against game over. It's easy to get overconfident when you're making 40,000 euros a day, but then a hailstorm comes and your bottle quantity drops 5 times and you will not be able to keep up with your current turn costs. And game over comes really quickly. So save your game often and use your loan for when you know for a fact that you don't have enough money for bottling your wine or keep up with your expenses. Ideally, get a lot of money and ask 5 years to reduce the turn cost. For sure you will recover in 5 years, there's no 5 years over hailstorm, but as soon as you have the money, repay it to avoid part of the interest and to get another chance to do the same if you run in debt again. Another thing you can do is to sell equipment, stores, remove employees from function, and then get some reduced costs until you can push some bottles out and make money again. And the second one is hidden lands in the mobile. Well, that's especially for Stadia mobile IU. I have a Samsung S10 Plus and I use touch controls 99% of my gameplay. And as you can see, I barely see the 2 lands behind my tool shed. They're a little hard to touch, but if you'll be able to do soon enough and have a real wine empire. Well, thank you for watching. Well, don't forget to hit that like button and really help us out and leave your comment. And what do you think? Did these tips help you out? Did you really enjoy the gameplay? If you have comments, tips of your own, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And I'll see you next time.
To the next level.